right, Jay? Or live, babe? Oh, deal with him. Right, go and see if you can stand in front of the live then.
Yeah, I can talk into the light from my either.
Huh?
Hi everyone. So today me and Isla are going to do a question and answer session on cerebral palsy and talk a bit about her history and her birth and how she became cerebral palsy. And she's just eating her lunch. So she's eating her pizza, aren't you, darling? Is it a nice pizza? You love it?
You can help us eat, actually.
Yeah, probably helping her eat at the same time. So, Isla was born on the 12th of December 2012. She was born naturally after a very quick labour. By the time Gloucester Royal realised that Kate was in labour, she was born within 15 minutes. Very, very early on, she had a catastrophic bleed to the brain. We were first told about it on the 13th, so they must have noticed it sometime on the 12th. By the time Pep put to us, it was the 13th. That bleed left catastrophic brain damage, which has led to her having cerebral palsy and being disabled. Initially, Isla was deemed as a quad spasticiplegic cerebral palsy. This obviously caused her journey through the unit to be a lot more difficult than it necessarily had to be. High lush bath bombs. So she had a very difficult ride through the unit. Every day we went in, it seemed like her consultant or a consultant wanted to talk to us about something else, and 99% of the time wasn't good news they wanted to talk to us about. They noticed something else on a scan, or there was something else wrong with. Isla is eating pizza, aren't you? And garlic bread and garlic dip. Yes, Rowan. You've got a little car. Okay. So yes, every day we went into the unit, there was always a message that a doctor or another was trying to buy me or Kate to have a chat about something else. And then, like I said, it was nearly always negative. They'd seen something else, or they were concerned about something else. We did go through a period where they kept scanning her and there was questions about her fluid-filled sats, and that went on for about 2 weeks, so they kept asking, they kept being concerned, Bristol kept not being concerned. Ultimately, until the brain doctor came back and went, but of course they're all getting different measurements, they're all using the scanner differently and putting different pressure on Ida's head, so they're all going to get different measurements. So after that, February 2013, Ida came home and then started all the hospital appointments and therapies and basically learning how to look after a severely disabled child, as well as all the checks and various other things that they have to do to verify what they already know when babies went through neonatal, that ultimately they have to do an MRI to prove the brain damage is there and the brain damage is in the right area for it to be cerebral palsy and nothing else. So I had that done. At that point also, yeah, do you remember that? But at that point also, they were very much, every time we went to a physio appointment, which was every, so yeah, Ida's hearing isn't affected, neither is her eyesight. She's remarkably lucky that her eyesight isn't affected, because she was on oxygen for 14 days, so that can affect her eyesight. But Ida, apart from having a squint, doesn't seem to have got any other effects other than the cerebral palsy from the brain damage.
Yeah, darling. Dad's
Rowan
doing
is
a live
playing-
with Viola. I'm just going to
Rowan
turn the
is-
dishwasher off. Come on, you need a bed.
Rowan is playing with his little car in the background. So yeah, by the time they got to do the MRI scan and actually formally diagnose the cerebral palsy, her physio every month was saying, "Have you seen the consultant yet? Has the consultant spoken to you?" So our suspicion is that for probably the 2 or 3 months before we were actually told she had cerebral palsy formally, the physio knew. We sort of already knew, because one of Ida's big signs was her an inability to sit up from 6 months. And when she couldn't do that, it became quite obvious quite quickly that there was, well, we already knew suspected cerebral palsy, but it was becoming pretty obvious that the cerebral palsy was there. What am I here? And this piece. So, yeah, 18 months old, her baby consultant called us into the room and went, "So you know about cerebral palsy?" And we're like, "Yeah." "Well, she's got it. I'll refer you on to the consultant who specialises in cerebral palsy." And that was pretty much the whole appointment. Although in his defence, he's not a specialist in cerebral palsy, and I think, in being an neonatologist, he has to know a lot about everything. He can't know, or a little about everything, not a lot about one thing. Very much unlike a specialist consultant. Come on in, here he comes. So she went on to her specialist consultant 18 months. About 2 or 3 months after that, she started having seizures. They were initially put down as febrile convulsions. Once she'd had right through them, they started medicating her and diagnosing her officially with epilepsy as well as the cerebral palsy. And then for about the next year and a half, she was having monthly seizures. So we were in and out, Lost Royal, constantly having to do follow-ups with the consultants and the epilepsy nursing team. Viola ultimately now ended up on 3 anti-epileptics twice a day to try to keep control of the epilepsy, which, touch wood, touch your head, there you are, touch wood, touch Ida's head, depending on which one is nearer, yeah? Isla's epilepsy seems a lot more controlled now. We do have the odd seizure, but they're nowhere near the monthly that they were when she was younger. Rowan, stop drawing on the floor with a highlighter, please.
Yes, please.
Yellow, yeah. Should you have a yellow highlighter that you are colouring the flooring with? You put the lid back on then.
Oh dear gosh.
Oh dear gosh. So, as Isla's got bigger, she had an SDR when she was, yeah, she's still enjoying her pizza. And you, is your pizza nice? Is it the best pizza you've ever tried in your whole wide world? Oh, good. I have to send a compliment to them. Say, please tonight have lots of free pizza. Worth. Isla's been in her Rowan's been in his masterpiece in. So at 3, I think, from memory, Isla had an operation called an SDR that we raised nearly £60,000 for her to have it, because the NHS won't, or wouldn't, and still won't, do the operation for her type and her grade of cerebral palsy on the NHS. This operation involves cutting the nerve endings in the back to stop the brain being able to overstimulate the legs, and so causes a lot less pain and discomfort for the child. Doesn't it say that? Yeah! Has it made you feel better? It has? So, it's turned Isla's cerebral palsy from dystonic cerebral palsy, spastic diplegic cerebral palsy to aphatoid dystonic cerebral palsy, which basically in English means she's went from being very tight and very stiff to being very loose and very floppy. Does that sound right, Isla? Are you loose and floppy now? What? Come on, get it. What's the matter? Look at the... Oh, it's a baby boy on the TV. Who's that? Now there's an upside down baby boy on the screen. Right, way up. Upside down. Right, way up. Upside down. Upside down. Right, way up. Upside down. What are you doing anyway? I'm supposed to be talking about Isla and I've got a Rowan. Ah! So the biggest change when she got her SDR was the fact that we had to relearn all of her therapies, all of her exercises that we've been doing since she'd been born. to to account for the fact that Isla is now loose, not tight, because that's one thing the SDR does. It changes the type and the makeup of the cerebral palsy. It reverses it basically. Sorry, I've gained the toddler, so she needs to put a t-shirt on. Come on. Let's put the t-shirt on. There we go. Has he got clothes on now? Does he look more dressed? Thumbs up. Is he being looked after by me and Isla? Yeah? Isla's got her coat and got her pizza. So yes, so after the SDR, basically two major things happened. First was we had to relearn all of her therapies, all the exercises, everything that we've been doing for the previous 3 years had to be completely relearned because her cerebral palsy changed presentation almost fully. Also, and a random side effect of her SDR, we've had no major, like hour-long seizures since she's had it. The only additional point I would put onto that is that we did introduce a new medication just before the SDR, so none of us actually know whether the SDR stopped the seizures or whether this new medication we added just before the SDR stopped the seizures.
I'm just going to bring you closer so people can hear you a bit better. You're a bit far away.
We're going closer. And Rowan's coming up. You coming up? Yeah? Okay. You gonna say hi everyone? Hi friends. What are you doing? Doing? Do me. Stop drawing on the carpet. Toddlers. So, I mean, as Isla's got bigger, we have had new issues come in, I'd say. So she's still got some. Hello, you. She's still got some stiffening in her body that comes out mainly in her toes. So she has got a toe that has fixed now in a deformity that needs an operation, which they've agreed to do, but how long's a piece of string? Eventually the NHS will get around to doing it. I mean, she's got, as been shown on videos by Kate, she has got new afros and new shoes which help massively down it. Are your afros cool now? Yeah? Did you go and find them special? Did they say, which ones do you want? And you were like, I think I would have stars on them. And you were like, yes, this is the ones I want.
Oh yeah!
Do you love them?
Yeah!
If they had a Mickey Mouse on, would you have had the Mickey Mouse ones? You would?
Yeah!
But Dad didn't have any. No. What do you think of that? Oh, no. Not a. But yeah, the other thing I was going to say was when we were on unit, very much it was painted that, I'm not going to use the terminology. Does she like Disney? Isla, do you like Disney? Is Disney your favourite?
Yeah.
Are you going there soon, do you think? Do you go there soon?
Yeah.
You do? You have to go out there in the summer.
Sorry.
He's now drawing too.
Sorry.
Yes, very much the picture that was being painted by certain people on the unit, who I'm not going to enter any further details, would have liked us to have believed Isla was going to become, was that she would be able to do very little, if anything. And yes, you are one of the most determined children we know, aren't you? Yeah? Do you try to get everything done? Stop covering me in garlic mayo. Eat the garlic mayo, you. Yeah. Keep garlic mayo me, Rowan. Not running. But yeah, Isla's proved pretty much all of her doubters wrong, haven't you? Over the years. Including Dr. Degrassi, shouldn't have named her, but her previous consultant, who I was pretty much constantly amazed by what she could achieve with the level of brain damage. Yeah. Okay. So, that's the positive side of Isla's cerebral palsy, that she's determined, she's learned to do a lot that she should be able to do. However, there is a lot that Isla can't do. So, Isla can't sit unaided for any sort of length of time. She can do it maybe for a minute or two, but it's very, very tiring for her. So that's why she's nearly always in either her adaptive inside seat like she is now, or in her wheelchair that she uses outside. She can't walk. She can talk to an extent, but she can't talk like everyday people can. She has a communication aid that helps her talk in school, and she uses sign language. Which everyone understand for Wales? She uses sign language and gestures to communicate a lot of what she wants. Don't you? Yeah? When she was younger, she couldn't crawl, she tended to roll everywhere. Like I said earlier, one of the main initial concerns was the lack of sitting up. When she was in the bath and when she was generally around, she couldn't sit up. But also, she's always found ways around her limitations. For example, when she wanted a toy off the side when she was very young, she found a stick and decided to whack it off with that stick. So hopefully, with the help and support of us and the care team, she should continue to gain additional independence. She has a walker, she has a stander at school, she's just been introduced to powered mobility to give her that independence when she's in her wheelchair, so she can control where she goes. She doesn't have to rely on adults to do everything for her. And I think that's a big thing with Isla. She loves her independence, don't you?
Yeah.
It's probably the biggest part of Isla's disability that she hates, is the fact that it's took a significant part of her independence away. Because she is massively independent, aren't you? What's your favourite thing to do? Wales? Do you love school? So she loves school.
Yeah. Oh,
She loves Disney.
yeah.
Don't you? You love everything Disney.
Yeah.
She loves spending time with her friends. Do you miss school? Are you annoyed school's been closed the last few weeks? Are you looking forward to seeing everyone again now? Are you going to see everyone soon? Getting the top back. So yeah, she misses school when she's in there. She's looking forward to going back. The toddler is deciding to come and help with the live by the look of it. So what's your favourite ride in Disney? Wales? There's not a ride called Wales. You love Small World, don't you? And Dumbo. And you love eating at Hakuna Matata, especially in Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
You love the fireworks.
Yeah.
And the parades and all the music, don't you?
Yeah.
You have to have a good dance. Does Rowan love to have a good dance? Can you show when you're done? You can stay down there or climb up, though. Yeah, you love all the Disney parks, don't you? What's your favourite film at the moment for Disney? Is it still Frozen?
Yeah.
It's still Frozen? Who's your favourite character? Is it Elsa? Isla? Is Elsa your favourite character? Maybe Anna's your favourite character.
Yeah.
Or maybe that reindeer. Do you not like the reindeer? We have been to Disneyland Paris, haven't we? Both parts of Disneyland Paris, and we've been to the 4 parts of Disney World. Out of 4. What's that, taking you to all the Disney parks? Thank you. Thank you. So what's your favourite Disney World park? Do you love Magic Kingdom? Is Magic Kingdom your favourite? Yeah. And also Isla's favourite book is Boris's Big Bogey. Isla loves having big bogies, don't you?
Yeah.
And this is Isla's Halloween costume. You don't look pretty in this? You don't look good. And your whole wheelchair's going to be done up like Cinderella's carriage. With lights, and she's got like a cover to go over a whole chair that makes the chair look like Cinderella's carriage. So she's going to look lovely in that. Someone's just asked, do you love having your brother around?
Yeah!
Is he crazy?
Who's her favourite Disney character, Winnie the Pooh?
I said Elsa on.
She sticks with Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. She has a Winnie the Pooh teddy, don't you? That you've had for years and years and years and years and years. You've seen much better days, but she will not relinquish him, no matter what we try. There he is. He's a bit floppy. Is he yours? Is there nowhere you're ever letting him go? And this is her second favourite character. Stitchy. It's a special Stitch. It's all rainbow colours for Pride. Which Isla is a massive supporter of, aren't you? I think it stems from the fact that inevitably when you're disabled you do face discrimination quite a lot. Whether that be someone saying, the most recent example, we went to the History Museum in London. The one display Isla wanted to see was the whale display, because whales are her favourite things in the world, because she's a whale at school. The lift was out of order, so we carried her up. When I came back down with her, there was a security guard stood by her wheelchair who said, you can't leave the wheelchair here, it's a security concern. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do? The one thing she wants to see is as well, whatever else is accessible. And things like that happen a lot. Whether it's people not thinking or... But Isla, that's very upsetting, isn't it? Yeah. But at least you got to see that big whale. Was he massive? He was good, was he? Was he big enough that he could have eaten your whole class? Oh, no. That's not allowed to happen. So what's your favourite thing to do at school? Do you love walking club in your walking club? Do you love swimming? So, she's in a lot less pain than she would have been had we not done the SDR. So, one of the major reasons for doing the SDR for Isla was to reduce and or remove her discomfort and her pain, because as she got bigger, her limbs would got more and more stiff and she found everything harder and harder. She still does get cramps in her leg, she still does suffer some discomfort, but it's significantly less than she would have done had we not intervened. I mean, we have stretches and we have other ways of limiting or controlling her discomfort and her pain.
Put some water in there.
Then I look at water.
Take her away and do some painting.
Use some painting.
She's throwing some biscuits because it's always searching for.
We'll have to show everyone your artistic masterpiece at the end, won't we, Isla? Is it going to be a masterpiece? What's it gonna look like? Yellow. What's some biscuits?
They're in here.
What's in mummy? No, the water's for Isla.
Josie, sorry to the life that like Rowan's taking
Yeah.
your time.
Sorry, Rowan is needing a drink and I was trying to get Isla to start doing her painting. So everybody can see it at the end. And the toddler is playing with it. Here you are. See? I'm off now. So yeah, in response to that question, Isla does get some pain, but it is significantly less than she would have had we not done the SDR when she was 3. If we hadn't done that, she'd be in a lot more pain now than she is. Yeah. And would have had a lot more seizures, more than likely than she's had as well. Yeah. Got it? Right, so we regain the toddler, haven't we, Isla? So yeah, if anyone has any questions. I feel remarkably proud of what Isla's achieved. I think Isla has done remarkably well considering how poorly she was and the level of brain damage that she suffered. It is hard, it's very hard, especially now we've got this one, and seeing how easy he finds things to achieve and how easy he finds talking and everything to do when Isla finds the same things so difficult. Being very vague on the subject because I can't really go into too much detail, I do also feel massively let down by the people that should have cared for Kate and Isla when initially during her birth and during the early stages of her life. So which just does not mean neonatal, it means maternity. But yeah, generally I'm so proud of Isla. I think every obstacle that gets put in front of her. What's that me? And yeah, I mean, it does upset me on at times that Isla can't enjoy life the way that she wants to. And she has to sit in a chair, she has to be pushed around all the time, she doesn't have the level of independence that she wants. That's very difficult to see as a parent. So yeah, her birth was very quick and very traumatic. It was, I remember Kate saying to me, we just had a baby because it was all so quick and happened so fast. the unit was probably the hardest 3 months of my life. It's very difficult to, it's not very difficult to bond with a baby that's very poorly, but it's very difficult to see the light at the end of the tunnel, is the way to say it. It's very hard to make yourself believe that that baby is actually going to come home. And especially with Isla, where like I said earlier, every day we went in, there'd be a doctor wanting to talk to us who'd have something else they wanted to say, or something else they were concerned by. Even up to the last 2 weeks before we brought her home, every day we might have to do a shunt, we may not have to do a shunt, we may have to do this procedure, we may not have to do this procedure, we've got this concern, and then in the same breath they say, oh well, she's nearly ready to come home. And you start thinking, how can she be nearly ready to come home, but you've also got all these concerns, and you keep coming in and out, and you're constantly saying you've got this and that concern, and then acting surprised that me and Kate didn't appear to be coping brilliantly with the situation. And I think probably the second hardest period past neonatal and birth and all the stuff when she was a baby, she had a 3-hour seizure when she was about 19-20 months old. And again, that is remarkably difficult to have absolutely no control and no ability to help your child, but that's your main job. Is to look after that baby. Yeah, you do some painting there. You had a drink? Come on, you have a drink, and then you do some painting. Don't paint me. Do I not look pretty enough for you, Isla? Do I have to look more pretty? What are you going to do? Yeah. My nose is now yellow. Ah, what should I do? You want that yellow? Okay. A little bit more yellow. Yeah, you can do a bit more painting. You got some yellow. You want. You can't have yellow and black on your brush at the same time. You won't be able to see the yellow. Should I paint some yellow on the mouse? Hello, Roby boy. So, what are you doing, Rowan? You say hi? Hi, everybody. I am here.
Hi, boy.
Hiya, boy.
Mommy.
Yeah, okay.
Can you stop you, these people following watching?
So yeah, so Isla was born at the end of 2012. She was born 12-12-12 at 12-14, and she was 12 weeks early. So obviously Isla really loves the number 12 a bit more than she probably should do. She was £2.4 when she was born, so she was a tiny, 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 tiny baby, weren't you? And she needed a lot of help. She was on full ventilation for the first 2 weeks of her life. She had physio input almost from the start. I remember her physio going in and doing physio on her when she was still really tiny. She was doing an incubator the first time the first physio saw her. She spent 13 weeks on the unit and had numerous infections. She had a valve in her heart that didn't close properly, so that had to be treated with ibuprofen, which then caused a bleed, which then meant the ibuprofen had to be repeated. Additionally, on top of all of this, we had the doctors giving us sort of ideas of how she was going to progress in the future, whilst in the same breath saying she was on the wrong side of a 50% chance of survival, which never at the time made an awful lot of sense. Yeah. Also didn't make an awful lot of sense why you'd be saying all this stuff about the future of your child and then saying your child was less than 50% chance of survival. Then once we got past the initial sort of bleed and that settling down, just said that. So once we initially got past the heart issues and the infections and her bleed had dispersed and settled down, we then had to try to start feeding her. So initially, they tried to breastfeed her, but due to her prematurity, she couldn't latch on. She couldn't get the idea of how to latch on. So we tried that, and she was more and more upset and more annoyed that she was hungry. So we then said that we wanted her to go onto a bottle, but even that caused a load of issues that we're not expecting. So the first few types of bottle we tried she couldn't take to. In the end, we got the cheapest teat we possibly could find, most fast flowing one, and she took off. She absolutely loved the fact that she had to do minimal effort to sort of suck from this bottle, and it would just push the milk into her mouth. So then after all of that, we got to a stage where she was feeding. Generally they were happy with her, but then the doctor who did all the brain scans went off on holiday, I think, from what I remember. And all the other doctors then started doing Islas brain scans. Yes, yes, then all the other doctors started doing the brain scans, which on the face of it doesn't sound like it's going to become a massive issue. The problem comes in that where the same doctor's doing the scan, the same doctor's going to put the same pressure on the baby's head with the scanner and get very similar results. When you've got 5 consultants all doing the scan, they all apply different pressure to the brain. They get different readings to the fluid-filled sac, which is where Islas damage is. This then led the doctors near enough every day to decide that the pressure had built up in her head, that there was going to be problems, that they needed to do a lumbar puncture, and they'd say this in the morning, and they'd go off and ring Bristol, and Bristol would say no, not unless she shows other symptoms, or she's been sick, or there's any other reason for you to have concerns you want to do the lumbar puncture. This carried on for 2 weeks, so we'd have a conversation in the morning. They're like, oh, Isla's nearly ready to go home now. She'll be home by the end of the week. And then a few hours later, oh, we've done a scan and the fluid filters have filled up, and we might need to do a lumbar puncture. And it's carried on the whole way through the specialist doctor's holiday. He returns back to the hospital, draws us a diagram and says, the reason why you've been having all these problems for the last 2 weeks is because the doctors have been applying different pressure, so they've been getting different readings, different measurements. So there's nothing wrong with Isla. You should be able to take her home by the end of, I think it's the end of that week. Now back then, this has changed now, but back then, they used to do a car seat test where they put the baby into the car seat and they'd monitor the baby's oxygen levels. To establish whether the baby was able to go home safely in their car seat. Which they don't do anymore for some reason. But that was a whole different set of issues. So the first car seat test they did, she failed. Luckily the consultant came along and said she's been in here far too long, and she sort of padded her out and got her and really nice to know.
Do you want to read a story quickly for she falls?
Yeah. Okay, I'll probably read Isla her story because she is bored. Ready?
Do you want to ask everyone to like and subscribe as well?
Yeah. So if
Keep
everyone,
doing that every now and then.
so if everyone can like and subscribe, that would be a massive help to the channel. And we're gonna read Boris's Big Bogey, Isla's favourite book. Do you love it because you love bogies?
Ask for questions, you can answer questions. Read a page, answer questions.
That's not the first page. This is the first page, isn't it? When Boris sailed the 7 seas on the pirate ship Black Rose, in sun or storm he always kept one finger up his nose. Where's your nose? Isla Ruby? You don't need that page is the title. So can we read? In sun or storm he always kept one finger up his nose. Yet even as he scrubbed the deck or trimmed the captain's hair, he still picked great big bogies and flicked them in the air. Oh no! Hope you don't flick yours. Yeah. Not bogies, they'll be everywhere. Captain shiver me timbers. He let out a sudden cry. Look here upon this chart, my lads, do you see what I spy? A far off treasure island, was not been seen afore, will go and search of pirate's gold upon its distant shore. But it wasn't an island, no, no, no. It wasn't an island, yo ho ho. That sticky strap on the pirate map was Boris's big bogey. Yeah. Where's Boris? Can you find Boris? So yeah, whilst Isla is looking at the pictures, in February 2013, that seems like a really long time ago. Yeah, so any questions? So if anyone has any questions, in between reading Isla pages of her story, I will try to answer the questions on the page. Yeah? Does that sound good, Isla? So let's read this page and then we'll see if there's any questions. Yeah. But again, things can happen at sea, where storm winds rage and draw. They sailed and sailed for many a day until at last they saw A strange enchanted land for cliffs all grim and grey. So they came to Bodie Island and they moored in Bodie Bay. Then Captain...
Yes.
What?
See?
Yeah, we're busy. Can you see Mummy?
Oh, my mommy.
I think I've just sent him back to Mummy, so hopefully he will calm down. Or not. He's back. Is he funny? Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you love him?
Yeah.
From when you met him for the first time in Melanet? Was he tiny? Okay, do the next page. The wondrous things can happen at sea. For when they rowed ashore, they found a cave, a secret cave, with a stone across the door. And a faded sign which read, "Keep out, and here be pirate gold." So in they went, for pirates never do what they are told. Are pirates very silly like that? Are there pirates in your favourite show at Disneyland Paris? Do you remember going to see Pirates and Princesses during the festival? Go on then, do something painting. You ought to put some paint on your finger. Silly. Put some paint on your finger. Red finger. I'll put some paint on there. Red paint. So we enjoy spending time together as a family, don't we? We love going to the park and going for walks. And you love your Disney holidays. And Butlins. Is Butlins your favourite place in the UK? Have you seen lots of shows there? Yeah? Have you seen Justin there? Justin Fletcher cool when you saw him at the Butlins? Yeah? Some paint on your finger, then you can paint. Yeah, Mr. Tumble, so yeah. Justin Fletcher, Mr. Tumble. Ulster's Justin's house on CPBC. He was there, did a singing show on a Just for Tots week a couple of years ago, and Isla absolutely loves him. Don't you? You loved him for the longest time ever. And he was really good. He saw me carrying Isla and dancing with Isla, so probably guessed Isla was disabled, but he waved her at the end, and that made Isla's holiday, the fact that Mr. Tumble had seen her and waved to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you love pantos, don't you? Do you love a good panto? Especially when Guy Ritchie's in it. Yeah. You like Guy Ritchie?
Yeah.
Is that one better than the Butlins panto? Wow. And you love the Butlins panto, don't you?
Yeah.
Is that one of the reasons you go to Butlins as much as you can? Take the picture, not me. I do not need to be careful. You're going to paint my face. You need some face painting. So, let me think of a question for Isla. What's the thing you want to do the most in the next year? Do you want to learn to use your power chair? You will. And are you going to learn to use your communication aid better? So you can talk and use long sentences and make sure everybody knows everything that you know in your clever head. You don't do that? Because that's one of your big problems, isn't it? You're very, very, very clever in your head. You find it really difficult to tell everybody how clever you are. Does it frustrate you? Yeah? But we'll get there. I'll keep telling them in every meeting how clever Isla is. And then we'll stop making a puddle in the blue paint and start painting some blue on the paper. And there's a lovely blue puddle there, Isla, Ruby, Elizabeth.
I've given you some things to talk about there. You're just sort of staring at the camera, aren't you?
No, I asked Isla about what she wants to achieve.
Well, I asked you about your story. So I thought you could go into more into depth how you're feeling, how it's hurt you, how
I
it's
felt.
hard on the family, that sort of thing, and what we struggle with.
Yeah,
I was getting bored, so I'm going to give her a bath. I'm giving Rowan a bath, and then I'll do Isla. So
Okay.
come and get Isla in a minute once I've done Rowan.
So yeah, so once Isla came home, it was.
I just feel like everything on the channel is my point of view. That was all.
Yeah.
Just sharing your point of view.
But I did say that I found it really difficult. It's very hard going through the unit and being told.
True, but I think if you're going to
Constantly.
continue to stay live, to try and build the channel,
Yeah.
you're going to have to recap people because people are coming and going.
Yeah. I will. So I've got Isla supposed to be painting. Because he's more concerned with soaking me or the floor with the water that she's got. So once we finished, I'll go back to what I was saying originally. Once we went through that 2-week period of does she need a lumbar puncture, does she not, doesn't she need a lumbar puncture, Bristol say we can't do a lumbar puncture because there's no other signs that she's got issues. She eventually got sent home. Didn't you? Yes, you did. You don't live at Gloucester Royal, you live at home. You must have been sent home sometime. So she was sent home. And then, in inverted commas, the fun starts. So a large part of having a cerebral palsy child is learning how to stretch them and make them as loose as possible. Especially with the type that I had initially. So that's learning how to stretch hamstrings, learning how to stretch, learn how to move the hips around, make sure that she is as comfortable as possible.
You want your paintbrush? Can you have a paintbrush?
She's not using the paintbrush.
But
That's
she
what
wants, she wants
I'm
it.
trying to do.
It's under there.
There's water on the floor there, Ada. Right, see the paintbrush. So Isla has a computerized communication aid that she uses at school to talk to us, talk to other students and talk to the staff. It's definitely a work in progress, but it's definitely made a lot of difference to Isla's abilities to communicate mainly at school. When she's at home or when she's with a respite care or when she's in a small group, she will talk, she will use vocalizations or signs to get across her points. The one thing that Isla's always struggled with is louder, busier environments. So where there's a lot of children, there's a lot of noise, she struggles to get her voice heard over those other children. So the communication rate being able to be turned up and being set to a recognisable voice that everybody knows is Isla means she gets heard a lot more than she did. I mean, to an extent, we've also had with school them telling us that she's learned stuff that we know she's learned for years, but that could well be the fact that they've never heard her being able to vocalise that fact, so they weren't aware that she knew it. So yeah, Isla's physio is a lot of manual handling, a lot of stretching.
I'm taking her because she's bored.
Okay. From this water.
Yeah. What? You want to do the live? Okay. Well, you're gonna have to behave then.
Come on then, come back in and see Daddy.
Maybe give her. She just wants to paint, I think. And that. Can you try and start those paints?
They are started.
Those rubbish.
She's already soaked them all, it's just that she's throwing them on the brush because it's
Rubbish.
a very tiny brush.
Oh well, I've got a big brush here.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Let's get a big brush on it. A big brush on the situation. That will help. A big yellow brush.
Yeah. So where are we going on Wednesday then?
So on Wednesday we are going to Disneyland Paris. Is Isla looking forward to Disneyland Paris?
Mummy is.
Mummy's looking forward to Disneyland Paris. Daddy's looking forward to Disneyland Paris.
We get to go on It's a Small World again because it's open again.
Yeah. Small World's been closed for the last
Forever.
year and a half, something like that. And it's one of those visits to Disneyland Paris where they started doing something, realised there was a load more work than they thought there was, and then it ended up closed forever, much to Isla's annoyance. Are you going to tell everyone how annoyed you were that the Small World was closed? Did Isla say boo? But it's back open now, so Isla's going to be riding that. How many times are you going to ride it, Isla?
Oh, thousands.
You didn't tell everybody how many times you're going to ride it? You're going to ride it 10 times. Is your brother allowed to come on it with you? No! Why not? He'll love Small World. Are you going to do Small World in Florida?
You haven't really spoken about what type of therapy she has either, have you yet?
I was just going down that line.
Oh, were you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And why she has them?
Yeah, so a lot of Isla's therapy is stretches. She has issues with cramps, especially at the top of her legs. So most of her exercises now surround stretching out the hamstrings. I think from the top of my head there's probably not a single exercise or therapy that she does, whether it be standing, walking, generalised stretching, where the hamstrings aren't directly or indirectly the goal of doing that exercise. You do it. You can hold the brush. I got your big brush. It's a big yellow brush. All ready for Isla to use. I love you. So, because of the fact that she gets cramps in her
I just put that nappy.
legs, she has stretches that certain stretches we've done for years, but they're all designed to release those hamstrings and to stop them contracting any more than they already have. Like I said earlier, she's needs an operation on her toes. You gotta actually paint it. You can't just keep mixing all the colours together to see what colour you get. You'll just get brown. Do you want brown? No. But then you have to paint it. Kiddo. Come on, kiddo. Are you going to see Mickey Mouse when we're at Disney? Are you going to go into Mickey Mouse's house? Are you going to share your photos with everyone on Facebook, on YouTube? You can tell them all you love them. You love Mickey because you're painting Mickey. So yeah, Isla is, wait a second. Isla is painting a picture of Mickey. Who apparently has a blue face. Not sure why he has a blue face, but he has a blue face all the same. And the toddlers running around as well in the background. You hear lots of doodling or quacking, apparently. Then that would be the baby boy. But yes, all her stretches is designed to reduce the level of discomfort that Isla suffers on a day-to-day basis. One of the problems with cerebral palsy around this sort of age, sort of 8 till 10, 12 years old, is in all of us, our muscles start setting, start fixing in place. Which we have a condition that contracts the muscles and stiffens the muscles, this can mean the muscle shorter. So a lot of her stretching at the moment is to stop that happening. You can't drink the paint water. Have your drink. Right, put that back there. So that's now gone. And I am apparently talking to myself. Are you not painting, Isla? So on top of that, we have a lot of specialist equipment for Isla to try to keep her moving, to try to get her to learn more skills. So she has this very big pink indoor chair, don't you? That's all memory foam and very comfortable for you. Is it comfortable? That she uses day to day at home. She also has one at school which she uses every day there. Additionally, she has, sorry, I'm just making Isla a drink. She also has a standing frame at school, although she doesn't have one at home at the moment because there are space issues. But that's my job for the next year, is to try to get one issue from home, because it does help her massively when she has the ability to go in a home and a school. She has a walking frame at school, don't you? So you can do walking club and learn lots of stills of walking. She has an outdoor wheelchair. She also has an powered outdoor chair that at the moment she's just learning to use, but hopefully in time should give her a lot more independence and give her the ability to go where she wants to go rather than where people want to take her. So walks her back. And from other equipment she's got her communication aid, which I've said previously helps her with making herself heard, especially at school where it's a very busy environment, there's lots of children around. She doesn't have the undivided attention, I suppose I'd say, of the adults in the class. And also it helps where, so before she had the high-tech tablet, she had a low-tech communication board, which if the teacher wanted to change the subject, the teacher had to go back in, change all the boards, re-record all the messages on the device, which in a busy school environment where things might change very quickly, that's not really practical. Come on. What can you do there? Show everyone your communication, show everyone your skills at painting.
For God's sake. Is anyone watching?
One person.
Which is probably my mum, so do you want to just wrap it up because no one's interested? And Rowan is trying to terrorise me in the bath.
Okay.
I'll just do it there. Come on.
Okay, so then we're going to go. Are you going to wave, bye, lady, and say bye bye, everyone? You say thank you for rolling with the Hatfields. Okay, thank you for rolling with the Hatfields. Please like and subscribe. What's the matter?